finished dealing with the dwarves and hidden the treasure from them, they expressed consternation about the fact that they didn't find any treasure in this dwarven place. Bloody unusual it is, isn't it?
Hey, what a pity, never mind.
There's no treasure.
Yeah, I didn't find out and put it in my backpack.
So you spend a pleasant evening with the dwarves in an ancient stone tomb, only with some dwarf skeletons and some dead oozes. You set out and you head back down the trail in the morning to Gnomengarde. The road ends at the gnome fortress of Gnomengarde. It is a recess into a big mountain. You follow the stream uphill from the base of the mountain where a waterfall erosion has carved out a natural concavity. The roaring waterfall creates a cloud of mist as it plunges into a shadow pool of water, within which rise two small islands covered with 2-foot-tall red, green and purple mushrooms. Several cave openings overlook the pool from rocky ledges 20 to 30 feet above. The mountain blocks any sunlight from reaching this place. The only way you can see to get any further is on the other side of the river from you. You can just see that there's a natural ramp has been hewn into the rock that leads up to the cave entrance.
Thing next to the waterfall, then?
It's a bridge-looking thing. It's still quite some distance away.
On the top?
Yes.
So we can't access that at the moment?
No. You could possibly climb up those ones because you can see where there's some cave mouths, but there's an actual ramp on the other side of the river.
Is there any access to those islands and those mushrooms? Is there any boats or knocking about?
There's no boat, but it does look like there may be natural sandbanks on the other side of the river. Across the way, you see a small guard post on the outside of the cave. Behind the barricade made out of rocks and cement, you see two gnomes. Everybody has to shout just a little bit to hear over the noise of the waterfall. One of the gnomes shouts out, "Hey there, bud! Do me a favour and just hold still there." You can see that they're both pointing weird-looking crossbows covered in cogs and levers, and they've got a strange box on the top of the crossbow. And he says, "Now, this is the Magma 44, the most powerful gnome crossbow in the world, and it'll blow your head clean off." And his mate goes, "Except those times when it loads the bolt backwards." And he goes, "No, shut up, I've told you not to say that." And he goes, "So I'd suggest you guys hold still there." And the other one goes, "All the time when the trigger falls off." And he goes, "Will you shut up? They don't need to know that." And he says, "Now, please state your business, because we're here, we're guarding against Xing-Changas."
Xing-Changas?
Xing-Changas, that's right.
What is the Xing-Changa?
I've got to be honest, sir. I don't know. I don't really know. Do you fellas happen to be Xing-Changas?
Not this week.
Give me access to some of those mushrooms and I might be a Xing-Changa.
He says, "Please come across the river, but don't get too close because we need to check if..." It's quite easy to ford the river. It's quite shallow at this point.
As I speak Gnomish, Richard, is that an Gnomish word? Or is it...
I will go forward for a quick Xing-Changa check.
Bracy, no, it's not a Gnomish word. He says, "Now,
who asked
stop.
You to look for the
He says,
Xing-Changas?
Stop right there." He says that the Xing-Changas, he says, "Why the king did, as he came running past there, he shouted, 'Kill any of them Xing-Changas, you see,' and then he ran off, and that was the last time we saw him for, well, must be 3 days now."
Has he been eating mushrooms?
We always eat mushrooms. That's what we eat.
Well, there you go. That's the end of that mystery.
What's your business here at Gnomengarde?
I'll show him the letter. "We have been sent by an idiot hiding under a bed to tell you there's a dragon."
He says, "Well, I know there's a dragon. We saw it flying overhead 3 days ago."
And he says that you might be able to help kill the dragon.
"We might be able to, but any help has to be authorized by the king, and nobody's seen him for 2 days. Not since he gave us the warning."
Does he have a regent?
Good question.
Well, his husband is he's disappeared as well.
Oh,
okay. So he's missing his husband.
and is his husband missing as well, you say?
He's not missing. We ain't seen them for a couple of days. We just got our orders to check for Xing-Changas, and I mean...
Do you know what a Xing-Changa is?
He says, we have absolutely no idea. We're just following
so
orders.
You're checking for Xing-Changas, but you don't know what a Xing-Changa is. What happens if a Xing-Changa is a gnome that pretends to be something other than a gnome and is actually a Xing-Changa? You don't know, do you? This is madness. Madness!
Shashelian, we Rab.
Where did you last see him? So I can try and track him.
Good point.
Well, inside, of course. This is where we live. It's the glorious gnome city of Gnomengarde. We took a vote on the name, and it came back 99 out of 100.
So
Did
he's
anything
still in the
happen
city then?
just before or the day before that he went missing, or what? Did anybody turn up?
2 days ago.
Anybody speak to him?
Oh, no, he's definitely in the city. He has not left.
Ah.
Let's
Sorry,
head
I
to
thought
the
you meant he
city.
ran upstream. Let's go, aye.
He's like, oh, hold it right there, son. We can't let nobody in unless we know you ain't Xinjiangers.
We're not Xinjiangers, because obviously if we're Xinjiangers, we would be dragging our left leg.
He says, is that right? He turns to me and he goes, is that right? He says, I don't know. Let me see those left legs. Make a persuasion check.
Can I make an intimidation check instead?
You can make an intimidation check and say, what do you wish to intimidate them with?
My left leg.
Go on then, make an intimidation check. A 16. He's like, whoa, there, big fella. There ain't no need for you to get nasty like that. I mean, we can see your left leg's absolutely fine, so there's no need for you to think in it. He lowers his crossbow and he says, you boys, come on all right up. To see wee Rab. He's like, hey there, cousin.
I switched to Gnomish. All right, lads, how's it going? Ignore the lucky ones.
So there's a furious back and forth between wee Rab and these two guys, and they say, right, so what can we do for you fellas then?
We want to see the king because we have a message for him, but I know he's hiding somewhere in the
He
city.
says, okay, well, come on up and I'll show you around. Behind him is a rough-hewn tunnel, and he says, I'll stay here. If you want to take these friends down and take them as far as the bridge, we're on duty. We can't let those Xinjiangers in. So he leads you to
You
this.
really don't have any clue what a Xinjianger is, do you?
We're just doing what our king told me. He told me to kill them Xinjiangers. We're going to kill them Xinjiangers. But we do know they have got funny left legs.
Well, that's true.
As you pass the first left-hand corridor, you do smell the delicious smell of bacon mushroom bread coming wafting down that corridor. The little gnome sees you're interested and says, oh, up that's the kitchens and the dining room up that way. The gnome cries out, hey there, Factor! It's us! Inside the room, bolted to the floor, is a gigantic rotating platform equipped with 4 heavy crossbows. Mounted above the crossbows at a height of 6 feet is a chair equipped with pedals, and in the chair is a small female gnome. The thing seems to creak and clunk and eject smoke. That's what she says. And he's like, they'd be cool. It's cool, Factor. And then, you know when people do that, slowly like hold your hand out and then gently step to the side, he sort of gently steps down while facing her at all points, holding his arms out, going, it's okay, we be cool. Unusually for a gnome, she seems a little bit batty, to be fair.
Unusually for a gnome, they're all mental.
A steam-powered clockwork quad crossbow machine is not mental. He leads you south into what appears to be a guard room. On the raised up platform at the south end of the room, there's 2 other gnomes who are holding crossbows, and he comes in and he goes, hey there, bud. And the gnome shouts, hey there, bud, have you seen any Xinjiangers? And he goes, no, but we have some firm intel that they have dodgy left legs. And he goes, well, that is good to know because I have not seen anybody with a dodgy left leg. At this point, the gnome says, okay, it's straight out of here. If you hit the switch on the right-hand wall as you come out of the cave, it'll start the conveyor belt, and then you go straight across, and that'll take you into the invention rooms, and you keep on going, and that will take you to Royal Chambers that way. He says, I have to go back, and I have to go and finish my guard duty in case those goddamn Xinjiangers come in.
Thank you, little man.
He says, thank you kindly, fellas. It's nice to meet you. He heads back off to his guard post. So as you start to walk across the bridge, wee Rab hits the switch. Walkway underneath you starts to move with a sort of noise, and it's not a smooth ride, but it does push it across the bridge to the other side. And then you come to a cave mouth, which leads upwards, in which you can see a chamber ahead. As you approach the chamber, it has inside it what is apparently 2 giant turnstiles. The turnstiles, however, have enormous blades on them that spin around at quite high velocity. They just intersect. On the other side of the cave, on the south part of the wall, there is a large switch.
Bucket, I'm chucking a hammer.
You throw the hammer, you hurl it between the blades, it strikes the switch on the wall, knocking it down, and slowly the blades slow down. And then you give Shash a dirty sideways look and then walk.
I was just about to say, can I do like a sideways grin at Shash and say, fucking hell? And then walk across the room and pick up my hammer. Yeah.
I'll flip the switch, turn them back on, because if I leave them off,
Chunk, 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 chunk. The blades come back online. You proceed up the corridor, and as you come round the corner, you can hear 2 people arguing. It sounds like the 2 high-pitched gnomish voices you're used to. And for some reason, they're arguing in common and not gnomish. Don't ask me why. You hear, "No, I tell you, bud, it needs to be sorted out." And he goes, "I know it needs to be sorted out. What we need to do is invent a straitjacket." And the other one says, "A straitjacket's not going to do any good. You need the range. What we need to invent is a sanity ray." And the other one says, "A sanity ray? There's no such thing as a sanity ray." He went, "Yeah, but that's why we're going to invent it." And so this conversation goes backwards and forwards, arguing between creating a sanity ray or a straitjacket. And they don't appear to be paying any attention to you. You all step into the room, and there's a female and a male. The male turns and says, "See, he'll tell you we need a sanity ray." And the female says, "Well, that's just stupid. We need a straitjacket. What do you think?"
Well, why can't
Sanity
you
ray
just
all
make
day long.
No, can you not make a sanity jacket that fires a sanity ray into the person inside?
Put your hands together.
They look at each other and go, well, I never thought that. The girl says, "Hey, Fib, that seems like a good idea." And he goes, "Yeah, Dad, we should." Now that you're inside the room, you see that it is strewn with large tables. The tables are covered with tinker's tools, cogs, straps, belts, sort of weird tubing. So they turn to you, Rab. "Say, cousin, what can we help you with?"
So I'll keep speaking to them in Gnomish, and I ask that I'm we're trying to find out where the king's gone.
"Oh, the king, he's gone, lost his marbles, bud. He's gone, locked himself in the royal bedchamber with the other king. He won't come out for 2 days. We're trying to find a way to solve his sanity because we can't get anything done."
Does he talk about Shashangas?
"Yeah, Xingchangas. Yeah, that's it." He says, "We can't get him to come out of his
Speak
room."
to the king.
You certainly can try. He says, "If you go up these stairs here and turn right at the first turning and then follow the passage all the way up, it'll take you straight to the king's chamber."
Thank you, little one.
So they immediately start grabbing their 2 inventions and sort of, they put the hoods together, start muttering, and there's clanging, and they're putting screwdrivers in, clockwork screwdrivers and things like that. Go like that. Well, thanks for the advice, guys. That's a big help.
You are welcome, little men.
So you approach what looks an extremely sturdy door. On the door handle of the door is a "If the door is rocking, don't come a knocking" sign. Above the door in Gnomish, Rabbit says, "Ye royalty bedchambery," with extra E's on the end to make it extra medieval.
I was going to bank with me morning star. It's like a gentle tap to wake them up.
You hear a voice from inside. So, "Help me, he's got me tied to the chair." And another voice goes, "Shut up, it's for your own good. Bugger off, we're not opening the door until you've killed all the shape changes."
We killed them all.
He says, "I don't believe you. I don't know who you are. I just heard your voice for the first time. I'm not stupid."
Well, we know that they all dragged their left leg, and we killed everyone who was dragging their left leg. Obvious.
He says, "What kind of idiot you take me for?" He says, "When the thing attacked me, it looked like a goddamn rug. Rugs don't have no left legs."
It looked like what?
"A rug. A goddamn rug with big eyes and big teeth. If you help me get rid of this goddamn shape changer, then I Well, give you stuff to help you with the dragon.
Where did you last see him?
The last time I seen it, it was in the throne room. It nearly bloody had me leg off. And now I don't think that those 2 gnomes that went missing, I don't think they went on holiday.
Can you tell us where the throne room is so we can stab your rug there?
He says, yes, go all the way down the corridor till you get to the T-junction. He says, don't go down the stairs to the left. That takes you down the workshop. That ain't no good. You want to turn right, go straight on the corridor to the big double doors. The greatest feats of gnome engineering from Gnomengarde. You can collect a card before you leave. The throne room is not locked. You run into the room. Can everybody give me a perception check, please? But drop it onto the dice tower. You've thoroughly searched the room.
Can I investigate the door, please, Richard?
It's an extremely strong door with clockwork, a lock mechanism. There's something written in Gnomish on the door.
I'll have a read. Oh, it's the treasury room. So that was probably going to be locked.
It is definitely locked. Like I said, it's got an extremely strong door on.
I'll go up to the door. Does it look like it's an airtight seal on the door, green skilled, or is it like, is it going to be like a normal door, although thick?
No, it looks pretty airtight. Right, Dave, you head up into that room.
What about
by
talking
yourself.
to those 2?
I'm in that room near it.
You're in the room with the 2 gnomes, yeah?
Yeah.
Can you roll as a perception check? Can you roll as a perception check?
Those 2 gnomes could be the shapeshifters.
Dave, you don't seem to notice anything unusual on your way through the room. The
So
2
it's a
gnomes
big
are talking, and he stops and goes, that's the bedrooms there, bud. I think people are just sleeping. You don't need to be down there.
Right, well, I'm going to have a little investigation of this sleeping quarters if possible.
Yeah, I'll come with you.
Seems like the only possible place where we could go from now, then.
As I walk past these 2 gnomes, Rich, I inhale deeply. Do they smell like normal gnomes, or have they got this weird acidic smell?
Throw the perception check in the dice tower.
Can I do a perception check whilst we're there, Rich, for gone past these?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Anybody can?
I've got a suspicion of these 2 little bastards.
No, they don't smell anything unusual. Well, the smell of sort of oil and sweat. Sweaty gnomes. The floor of this cave is strewn with the remnants of old campfires. 4 side caves serve as sleeping areas with 5 small wooden cots crammed in each one. 8 small gnomes are asleep in the little alcoves on the beds. The gnomes sleep individually as the cots are all padded around the inside. Can you all throw me a perception check into the tower, please? You don't seem to see anything out of order. The sound of snoring gnomes drifts through the air.
That's... I point out to Rob the marks.
Shashalian holds his fingers to his lips and goes, lads, and whispers, and then points to one of the campfires in the room. You examine the one that Shashalian's pointing to, but you don't notice anything untoward.
So that's your turn now, Shashelian. Investigate your own investigation.
I draw out my sword and I follow these drag marks.
The drag marks only go a few inches, but they go towards the gap in the wall. So Shashalian slowly walks forward and you're out on that ledge there, Dave. It's about a 30-foot drop if you were to fall.
Can I have a sniff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, drop.
You've got a scratch burst.
Chuck that perception into the dice tower. Other than sort of the weird smell of the mushrooms, the fresh smell of the waterfall, and the smell of the autumn, you don't smell anything untoward. Shash, where are you going? Right, you're going
Are
into
these
that
whirly
room.
things whirling about?
Right,
Yeah, you've got to turn them off.
They are still whirling about. Give us a perception check. Right, Bracy, Rab, where are you going? Rab has followed Singo. Right, you slide open the treasure room. It opens with a great big hiss, and inside you've seen the shiny gleam of metal. It contains a jumble of non-functional gnomish gizmos, as well as loose gears, twisted bits of metal, and other scraps that appears to be either to be used or have failed to be used in inventions. Can Rab and Sengo please give us perception checks into the tower?
Right, can I go back along to the King's Throne door? Rob, can you stay there for me so no cunt locks it on out? Just guard the door. I'm gonna have a look at the King's door. Can I have a look at the King's door and see?
Hang on.
If there's,
Before
if there's
Sengo wanders off, I point in my eyes and I point over to where I've seen this thing.
Way Rab points to his eyes and then points to a pile of cogs. As you do that, Shash is backing up the corridor. He's trying to whisper, but like I said, there's a vague noise of the waterfall permeates throughout the place. And he's going, lads! Lads!
I wave Crandor's character over. I found it.
You found what?
The shape changer.
Where is it?
Well, when I last saw it, it was imitating one of the blades on that defensive spinning thing. Because there was one extra.
So
Yeah,
where
there was
is it
4.
now?
I don't know, because I backed up. It's hopefully it's still there.
you should have engaged it.
We should head back and see if there's an extra blade.
Calais and Shash head into the blade room. And what about Weirab and Sengo?
We'll lock the door, Richie, and we'll head along to the blade room. But then again, I mean, would we even know that they've said that where we are?
Well, you did hear Shash shouting. He was
Right,
trying
how are
to
you then?
shout in a whisper way.
Right, well, I've locked the door and I've walked over to, like, meet them to engage this shapeshifter if it's there. I'll question it. I want to question it and capture it.
All right, Rab, what do you want to do?
Ruffle its hair.
Yeah, you're all going into the blade room. Right, had you pressed the button, Dave, when you were in there last?
No.
Right, so the blades are still spinning. Because they're spinning at quite high speed, it's almost impossible to count the number of blades because Shash is like, there's an extra blade in there.
I
button.
threw the switch.
Over the course of 60 seconds or so, the blades come to a stop.
Can we have a look at the blades and count the blades?
And it appears to be that there's the same number of blades on each post.
Well, it didn't get past this, so it might have moved on.
So it wasn't 100% a fifth blade.
Yeah.
So how the fuck's this shapeshifter getting out? It has to still be in this room. It couldn't have moved past these blades whilst it was spinning.
Unless
It depends
it's
how
gone out the
low the
exit on
blades
the other
go.
side.
The blades don't go all the way to the floor. There's a gap underneath.
Or we need to go back across the bridge and investigate the other rooms then.
I'll track round about these blades to see if I notice anything different than since I came.
Are you going to give it a sniff way, Rob? See if you can smell any acid?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, and by the way, lads, we think there might be one in the treasure room as well. So,
But it's locked safely in there, isn't it?
yeah, well, we like to think so. Unless there's a way out which it can get out.
If it could turn into a mouse and go under the door.
Right, you think you've picked up faint tracks leading over across the bridge.
This way, lads.
Yeah. What about that fucking daft viewer on the arrows? She could be a shapeshifter.
Right, so when you get to this side, there's also a switch on this side. Currently, the walkway is still churning towards you, but there's a switch where you can flick it to either turn it off or turn it to go back the other way. So it's like a conveyor belt. Again,
Flick
it's
it to go the
it's
other way.
completely unnecessarily overly complicated. It doesn't need to be a conveyor belt, but it just seems to be something that the gnomes have done.
So if the conveyor belt was coming this way, I wonder how it got across the bridge.
It was there all the time by the sounds of it. Maybe it's just a bird.
You're back into the guard post when the two guys are there like, hey bud, you get to speak to the king?
He's locked his cell in.
Or I asked him if they're seeing any strange animals by.
In the last 5 minutes.
He says, sorry bud, we were busy playing
Hide the sausage.
Cthulhu dice.
What about dogs? Do you have pet dogs?
The gnomes were
Like huskies?
no, we ain't got no dogs. We could build a dog. We could see the guys over in the workshop over there. I'm sure they could build us a dog.
Curious as to the crazy woman on the arrows. Is she still there?
Right, Dave, look into a room. It looks like to be a storage room. Give us a perception roll, please. In the room, you can see there's contains 12 40-gallon barrels set into a wide alcove, secured by a wooden brace. The barrel in the south alcove has been tapped with a wooden spigot. There look to be some kind of wine barrels in there. Can you roll your perception as well there, please, Rab?
I've walked past Sash and went into the room.
Right, can you make a perception check as well then, please? The one in the south wall that's got a spigot in, there's a little bucket next to it, and it appears to be that these barrels are full of mushroom wine.
Fucking yes, finally. Can I take a drink of one?
Hang on before you
Absolutely, you can.
do that. I'll shuffle down the south back to where the guards are, and I ask them how many barrels are supposed to be in that room.
He says, well, I haven't done inventory, but I think there's about a dozen of them in there. I'm not on inventory, I'm on guard duty, as you can see by my crossbow and by my guard companion here. And my helmet says guard, it's got guard written all over it.
I've already stood over it, and I'm pouring myself a sweet, sweet drink of
A sweet
mushroom,
drink of wine. And Shash, are you moving over there, yeah?
wine.
Sengo takes a swig of mushroom wine. You take a hefty gulp. It's earthy, but it's certainly got some unusual flavours.
This is earthy, but it certainly has some unusual flavours. You should all have a go, mate.
It tastes like a mushroom omelette.
Yes,
Is that
but
the
No, it
omelette?
tastes like a mushroom drink.
a mushroom omelette in wine form.
I take several more hefty swigs.
The barrel next to Shenzo just suddenly explodes in a massive pseudopods and writhing tentacles and leaps upon him. This thing envelops you, and where it touches, it feels like a clammy tongue, and it is, you stick to it.
Ugh.
The thing wraps around you like a blanket, covering your entire upper torso. From its back, you can see like weird purpley flesh and bits of wood where it used to be barrel poking through, and like an enormous pair of eyes and a mouth appears, and it starts to slowly constrict upon Sengo, who was surprised. It's like, and he starts to suffocate. We're going to initiative now, gentlemen. So first up we have Shashalian.
I cast Hunter's Mark on it, and I fire an arrow at it.
Right, okay, because it is wrapped around Sengo, he will take
I
half.
don't fucking can you could touch it.
He will.
Oh well, if
He will take half of the damage.
Okay, I won't fire at it then. I'm gonna have to God, what
Tickle
can
it.
we do?
Tickle it. It might be like, and then let go of us.
I suppose I could run the edge of my blade against it.
I like slice it.
Right, you run over and miss because you're trying to be too careful and you're misjudging. You're like, oh, buggery. So out shoots a pseudopod and it misses. This pseudopod, part pulpy flesh, part horrible clammy tongue, and part wooden barrel, slaps the air and you whip your head to one side just as it misses. Next up we have Kalash. His mic's died. Right, so he hits it. There's a schlup noise and then your mace sticks to it. Next up we have Sengo. You are grappled by the creature. It's swamped over you like a blanket and it seems to be stuck to you.
So I'm raging.
His muscles
Strength.
bulge. That's a 20. So you manage to pull yourself free and like you lose a bit of skin, but you manage to tear it free and throw it up against the wall.
Bastard! I'm fucking squeezing it to what I think is its neck, and I'm just shouting, "Yeah, fucking bastard!" Spitting at it as I'm shouting, "You bastard!" in my best Sean Bean accent I can do.
Right. Rab, okay, after you see this horrible thing, this terrible, terrible beast leap out, which is now part barrel, part beast, it actually, you can sort of see its face is like transformed, so part of it looks a bit like a drow. It's like a horrible amalgam of all these different things that it's touched. Right.
I will pull out my torch and light it, and then cast Shillelagh on my torch.
Next round, Shashelian.
I'll give it a good hard blow with my sword.
Hit, roll your damage. Right, you let loose a mighty swing at the beast. The sword goes deep. The horrible, clammy flesh of the beast closes around your sword and it's now stuck. It is the beast's turn. The first attack of the pseudopod is on the Shashalian, bites on Earl. So first of all, a pseudopod lashes out upon Shash, misses. its great jaw unhinges and it's got awful bone teeth inside, and it bites at Earl. So it bites out, the wound burns as it obviously has some kind of acidic bite. Kalishnikov, your turn, sir. Your mace is stuck to the beast.
Oh,
Mace. With a critical miss. With a critical miss.
Kicks one of the barrels instead and goes, jumping around the room. Me foot.
Aye, so he kicks a barrel and he's jumping up and down like with his stub toe. Sengo. You've pulled yourself free, but you haven't got a weapon in hand.
Right. So I'm gonna. I've took out my morning star, and I've just got like a straight arm. I've got me sort of like hips twisted away from it, and I'm just gonna sort of like flex me hips around as I'm bringing my arm round. Morning star fucking glistening, and it's just gonna sort of like lamp it anywhere I can.
It's a strong hit. Wow, it's still only wounded. Your morning star sinks deep into it, and then again that sticks to it. We Rab, sir.
Well, this is going to be hard because I can't actually get into any in there.
Can I move back?
If you let go of your sword, because you've got all of your sword, you can try and pull your sword free on your next turn. But if you want to just let go, I'll let you take a step one square back if you're letting Rab in.
Yeah, I'll move back and ready my bow.
Right, well, you ready your bow on your next turn, but you're just taking a step back to let Rab in. So it's your turn, Rab.
Right, I'll move in and I'll try hitting it with the flaming torch.
Yes, that hits. The torch sticks to it. Doesn't seem to have done anything special. It has taken a minor amount of damage, but it doesn't seem particularly vulnerable to fire, and it's still only wounded. Shashelian, so you're ready in your bow and arrow, yeah? And a 1. Awesome shot. So you're obviously rattled. We Rab, there's a whistling noise as an arrow parts your hair and tings into the wall above your head. Okay, next up is Creature. Sengo with the pseudopod. We Rab with the bite. It lashes out. It hits for 5 damage.
You bastard!
And then it bites out at Wee Rab.
That's a miss.
That misses, yeah. The mouth disappears on one side where it was attacking Senjo, and then like reappears on the other side and snaps out at you but misses. Next it's Kalash. He pulls out his short sword. He stabs the short sword quite hard, and that's a hit. And you get a stealth attack 5, so he does 5 hits to it. Your sword also sticks to it. So now you have 2 weapons stuck to it, and you are rapidly running out of swords. Next up, we have Sengo.
So can I melee there with my javelin and then pull it out? Because that's not going to get stuck in to the point where I can't get it out, is it?
Well, it's supernaturally adhesive, this mob, so it will probably get stuck. But you can use your javelin as an attack. You're just leaving all these weapons sticking to it. So this horrible pseudo...
So it's going to like be a hedgehog.
It's like a hedgehog with all these weapons stuck on it, yeah.
I'm going to javelin melee. I've pulled my javelin out. I've done like a fucking wicked little twirl. Took 2 steps back, and I'm just about to fucking like spot and shove it straight into its face.
You stab the javelin deep. Unfortunately, the javelin does stick. We, Rab McTavish, it is your turn, sir. What would you like to do?
I turn into a bear.
Nice one. Hit that wild shape, son. So you are now a black bear. Bite misses. Claws miss. New round, Chashel.
Can I climb onto this barrel here?
Yeah, make an athletics check. Or acrobatics if you want to like flip through the air. No, you can't climb up. You fail to get there. You only get that far, Dave.
Can I shout duck Rab, and does he duck?
He's not a duck, he's a bear. You're still going to shoot at disadvantage because you're trying to shoot past a big fucking bear. Have you seen the size of a fucking bear? You run a disadvantage. You miss because there's a great big fucking bear in the way. Rab, are you clawing and biting at this thing?
Oh, yes.
Right, you hit. Your claws right across it, but they stick to it. Oh, have you ever gotten that goo off a bear in the carpet? That's what's happened to your fur. You've all got like goo in your fur. It's heavily wounded. Its little dot's gone dark orange. It's like, me dot. Right, it goes for Sengo again. Hit, so you're only moderately wounded, and it takes a bite. It's like, that's a bear. It's a fucking... Where the fuck did a bear come from? And it misses. Next up, Kalash. You lash out and keep missing it.
Kicks the same barrel in the exact same place again. He's like, again! Why did I not learn the first time?
Sengo, You're up.
I've got light hammer, and I pull that out, and then just lamp it.
Top of the round, Shashalian, what do you want to do now?
I'll try and shoot the bugger again.
14, yes, right. You can climb on top of the barrel or on top of the bear. What would you like to do?
Please be on the bear.
Climb on the bow and shoot the thing.
Bitch! He gets a crit. Badly hurt now, but it's still going. Right, are you going all bear?
Finish him
Right,
off. Bear
so
hug. Bite his face in the hug.
he's got one paw stuck to it. You can still claw this turn, but if you get stuck, then you'll have both paws stuck to it. You do, in fact, bite it.
He's got to get the ER after this.
And your teeth sticks in. Both your claws and your mouth are stuck to this mimic now. The mimic looks like it's almost dead, but there is a bear stuck to it, and he's gone. Right, so Sengo.
So if I hammer this, do I give any damage to Bracy or not?
No, he's not engulfed by it, he's just stuck to it. It's a miss. Right, top of the round again, Shashalian. The thing is almost dead. It's barely moving, it's flailing. How do you kill it, Dave?
Through its heart.
He draws back, it camera goes into slow motion. He releases the arrow and it plunges deep inside it. The beast sort of quivers and all of its tendrils in it, and then goes flop onto the ground and then slowly oozes onto the ground. Now that it's dead, eventually you'll pull yourself free.
We've had a celebratory downer of one of the barrels, and we've put the beast into the barrel. And now we're putting it on the bear's bulk, and the bear is now carrying it along as we trudge towards the king living quarters.
He says, "Hey there, have you killed the beast yet?"
Yes, we have slain this monster, and it resides in a barrel on my bear's back.
Bear? Where did you get a bear from?
I'm feeling we have a changeling, but not that type of changeling.
Show me the beast in the bird.
Proffer the barrel towards him.
Yeah, the remains of the beast there, like half transformed into a gnome with bits of barrel sticking off it.
Its tongue sort of like wiggles a bit as I move the barrel forward, and its tongue like dangles out in the direction that I'm pointing.
The door finally slides open. Inside you see a royal bedchamber.
Right, I'm barging through, nicely, briskly walk, and then stretch out. All right, nice place you got here.
King Korbos has King Knockley glued to a chair, like literally glued to a chair. It's okay, Knockley. They've killed the horrible shape changer. And he says, "Well, that's great. Now, would you mind letting me out of this fucking chair?"
Yes, looks like you're in a sticky situation.
And he says, "Well, I'm mighty grateful to you folks. Now, what can I help you with?"
We require assistance in slaying a dragon. Do you have any tools or any help that you might provide us with in slaying this beast?
He says, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll put my men to work, providing to arms to the town. Here, I've got some items to help you in your quest. I'll gladly give you them." He says, "First of all, this is a hat of wizardry. And this wand here is a wand of pyrotechnics." He says, "And this, a pole of extending. Check this out. It's the latest in gnome technology." And it's a 1 foot long stick. He presses the little thumb stud on it, and it goes and shoots out to be a 10-foot pole. And he goes, and then guess what happens? You press the button again, and he presses the button again, and it goes, and it shoots back to a 1 foot pole. And that is basically the end of Gnomengarde. Yes, what I was doing there was trying to bring up the tension. So I had a whole load of random, like, things that you saw, smell, tasted, that kind of stuff. And whoever was feeling the perception roll the worst, I was dropping the hints in so that you were sure that you'd seen this. And Dave was feeling his tracking rolls, so I was going, "Oh yeah, there's tracks," but he was like running fours and stuff like that. So that's why I was saying, "Oh yeah, there's tracks. They appear to be going right," because you were feeling your tracking, and I was trying to bring the paranoia level up.
It did quite work.
Hey.
It did work.